be in my travel vlog. Where are we going?
Who knows?
You don't even know.
No, we're going to Taipei and then to Ho Chi Minh through Taipei.
No, we're not going to Ho Chi Minh. We're going to Hanoi. You should at least know where you're going.
I know what plane to get on. That's what goes.
Thank God I'm here.
I would have made it. I would have made it.
You would have ended up in Ho Chi Minh.
I didn't give you my permission to record this.
Sure that your seatbelt is very fastened. Thank you.
Welcome to Vietnam. I filmed a little intro clip to this vlog yesterday of me actually talking, and not just clips of me in various planes, but I was so tired because I had been traveling at that point for I think 27 hours. It was a red-eye flight, so that 27 hours began at the tail end of a full work day. I passed out yesterday at like 6 p.m. slept for 12 hours. So I feel great right now. I'm gonna head out and get breakfast in about 20 minutes, but I thought I'd actually film an introduction to this video. Let's cover the travel part first. So I am currently in Vietnam. I'm on a trip with my family. It's me, my mom, my stepdad, and my brother. Me and my mom have been to Vietnam before. We were here in 2017 and we loved it. I put Vietnam as my favorite country I've ever been to, and so we have basically been wanting to come back ever since. So right now we are in Ba, which is near Sapa. So we're in Lao Cai, which is the most northern province of Vietnam. Sapa is the main town there that people go to. It's kind of like a hub for trekking, and that's what we did last time. This time, instead of going directly to Sapa, we're starting in Ba, which is not a tourist town. What is in Ba and what we're going to today is the market. And we went to the Ba market the last time we were here as part of our hill trek that we were doing. One of the best experiences of the trip. It is, I mean, markets are cool, but this is the coolest market that I have ever seen in my life because it's not a tourist market. There are people selling water buffalo. Like, it's really, really cool. So in about 20 minutes, we're gonna go get breakfast, and then a bit later, we're gonna meet up with our guide, who's actually the same guy that we were with the first time we were here in Sapa. Her and my mom kept in touch. We're gonna go to the market, and then we're gonna drive to Sapa, which is about an hour and a half away. Then we're gonna stay in Sapa for the night, and then the next day we're gonna head out on a trek, and we're only doing a one-night hill trek this time just because it's so early in the trip and me and my brother are still pretty jet-lagged. My mom and my stepdad have been here for a while. They got here like a week. So that's kind of the travel portion of this vlog. Why is this also a writing vlog? Well, I'm hoping to do a bit of writing on this trip. You know, normally on trips like this, I wouldn't write at all. I probably wouldn't even bring my computer. For this trip, I was going through the itinerary and I realized that after dinner in the evening, most evenings we're just coming back to the hotel and that's it. Decided to bring my computer so that I could do some writing because otherwise the only thing to do in the evening would be to read. And I just don't know if I can read for like 4 hours every single night. I love reading, but I think that might be a little bit too much reading even for me. What I'm working on is my new fantasy project, which I'm gatekeeping the name, but we're just calling it by the acronym, which is Tebow. I've kind of just started working on this. So I had a goal to finish editing my novel, The Animal Sense, before the start of this trip. And so I've done that. I finished editing it. It's out to critique partners now. And so it's officially the time for me to start a new project. I'm hoping to actually draft it quite quickly. I wrote the first 2 chapters just as like a little test exercise. I always like to write the first couple chapters of a novel before I actually start writing it to acquaint myself with the voice and potentially iron out any issues that I'm having so that I don't have to face those issues when I actually start the draft. So I always kind of enter a first draft, usually with 1 or 2 test chapters done. I actually want to draft the book pretty fast. I want to be done by the end of August because I'm starting grad school at the beginning of September. And so I would like to have this first draft done by then so that I can put it aside and go into the first semester of my graduate degree with this project done. The book is divided into 5 parts. I'm not counting March. March is just like freebie. Whatever I can get done in March, that's extra. So I'm hoping to do 1 part a month for 5 months. So April, May, June, July, August. Hopefully be done. I'm expecting each part to be 15 to 20K a month, which is pretty reasonable for me to draft 15 to 20K in a month if I'm drafting a book and that's my primary project and that's what I'm focusing on. I already have a really good head start because part 1 is 4 chapters, I think, and I'm on chapter 3. I'm gonna be really, really ahead of the game, but I am obviously very busy until about mid-May because I'm doing a bunch of traveling. I'm on this trip and then I have another trip again in the first 2 weeks of May. Hopefully this travel vlog is a combination of both travel and writing and not just travel, but that is a likely occurrence.
You just eat it like this.
So we just got to Sapa and I just got to my room. We're staying at an eco lodge. It's like, this is maybe one of the most amazing hotel rooms that I've ever stayed in because this is my view. I'm doing okay with the jet lag. I'm not too tired. It might hit me in the next few hours. Tomorrow is our trekking day. We're headed out kind of first thing in the morning. I think it would be really nice to sit out here on the patio and do a tiny bit of writing. It also depends on whether or not my jet lag kicks me.
Very nice.
Two, they don't have the bathroom. If you want to use the bathroom before we go in, please go ahead. Yeah.
You get everything in one?
Yeah. When you sit here, you can see how much below traffic.
So I'm in my hotel room. I just had a full day of kind of exploring the city. We did a food tour. Yesterday we were taking the sleeper bus from Sapa to Hanoi. It left at 4 p.m. and it got in at like 10. I ended up writing like over 3,000 words. I finished chapter 3 and I would have written more, but my computer battery was dying. I forgot that I had left my computer turned on at the airport because a lot of the time they ask you to turn on your computer when you're going through security. So my computer had been on in my bag and I'd just completely forgotten about it. It was on like pretty low battery. It kind of sucked because if I had had more battery, I would have just written the whole bus ride, honestly, because I was on such a roll. I tapped into the voice in a way that I was struggling with in the opening chapters. In the opening chapters, I feel like the voice of my main character, I wasn't really tapping into the voice the way I wanted. It didn't really feel like the book was of another world. I don't want the voice to be too dense or like archaic or anything. The vibe I'm going for with this fantasy book is kind of like a fairy tale-esque in a sense. Like I'm going for kind of that mythic fairy tale-esque kind of feeling. So I don't want it to be dense or archaic or anything, and it's not meant to resemble any Earth time period. The world of my book is not really, I mean, obviously there's like inspiration and like you have to use some historical points as reference. I use ancient Rome a lot as a reference point for this world. Just set in one city and I need a reference point for one city, so I kind of picked ancient Rome as my reference point for like an ancient city, but the world is not Roman. It's not a Roman inspired world. I just sometimes look at it as a reference point for things like what government positions are there or what jobs are there or that kind of stuff. The book is not supposed to feel like it is historical in the sense that it's drawing from a specific earth, time, and place, because it's not. It's really meant to be otherworldly, an otherworldly voice, but that also feels light and so kind of fairy tale-esque. And I think that that's really echoed in my magic system. There's a lot of different types of magic, but it's all quite soft. I feel like I really tapped into the voice in a way that I hadn't yet, and that was just really exciting, and the words were just flowing. And I have this fear with this book, because I'm not accustomed to writing fantasy, of like, what if I can't connect with the voice the way that I need to in order to write just like effortlessly? You know, that's so easy for me in contemporary fiction because it's what I'm used to. Like, I'm usually a literary fiction writer, and I'm usually writing in a contemporary or somewhat recent time period, to the point that the voice is not going to feel really historical in any way. Whereas with this book, I do want to write it in the sense that it does feel, it is a translation. It is a translation of a language that doesn't exist. I do want the world to have that kind of otherworldly quality, and I felt like I was struggling to tap into it in the first two chapters. The first two chapters, especially on the first draft, they just felt too contemporary. I feel like something really clicked and the writing was effortless, and so I hope that that can keep up. You know, obviously writing a whole book, it's not going to be effortless the whole way through, but I hope that this is a trend. I have one chapter and one journal entry left in part 1. So I have 2 POVs, but one is epistolary, and so it's a more minimal POV. This other character, her name is Iova. We only get maybe 2 or 3 journal entries from her per part, and the journal entries are not that long, maybe 1 to 3 pages compared to like 5,000 word chapters. So they're pretty short, but I'm just going to count them as a chapter. So I have one of those and then one like full chapter from Aislif's point of view, and that's the end of part 1. It's not much left, and my goal was to be done part 1 by the end of April, and I'm definitely going to be done before the end of April. So tomorrow we are flying to Sumatra, and it's a pretty long travel day. It's 2 flights. We're flying through Kuala Lumpur, and then we're staying in Medan, which is in Indonesia, and then we're going to the small town that we're staying in the next morning. I think we get in pretty late, but obviously we have a long travel day, so I would love to do a bit of writing on this long travel day. Part of me is like, what if I finish part 1 by the end of the month? And then I just shifted my whole schedule up a month. And then I would be done the book by the end of July.
That's okay, I would say.
The first you put here. Cái ông đang ngồi uống cái kia là chồng của bà này. Medium.
She hit the plus a couple times.
Medium. Different time I change temperature.
Down.
Wind.
I can teach you.
You use wind for that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, deep breathing.
Yeah.
We call it deep breathing.
Deep breathing with a lot of smile.
Lots of smile and laugh.
We say 1,000 smile every day.
So I'm in the jungle, and it's pretty epic. Take a look at this. It's unreal. Like, the sounds, the trees are huge. I've never really seen anything like this before. So I'm in Bukit Lawang, which is a town in Indonesia, North Sumatra. Tomorrow we are doing our orangutan trek, to hopefully see orangutans. We're having a pretty easy day today. We just had like a really long lunch. I think it's like 3 p.m. We might go swim at the river, or we might just hang out. I'm not really sure. I think I'm just gonna hang out and do some writing. I haven't really done any writing since that day in Sapa. It was way too busy in Hanoi yesterday, I wanted to do some when we got back to the hotel at the airport, but our flight was a bit delayed. So, and then also we had to get like our visas. We didn't get to our rooms till past 11, and I've been waking up at like 6:30 because of the jet lag, but I've also been going to sleep at like 9. We're here for the next few days, so tomorrow we're doing our trek, full day trek, but we're leaving pretty early. You know, when we get back in the afternoons, it's gonna be so hot out that I don't think we're really gonna be going out to do anything.
Okay. Well, I'm not scared. See you later, buddy. I don't know. I thought it was you. I'm here. Oh, okay. Not voice. Yeah. I don't know what her little voice is.
The side. They will kill the tree.
The vines.
The ones who kill the tree.
Yeah. Then,
30 years, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you've been practicing? Yeah. He's super cute.
Lagi. Eh bang, ayo. Thomas. Apa hari abang?
We just got back from our first day of trekking in. So this morning, oh my god. For context, I had been told there were monkeys here, and I was really excited. So this morning I wake up and I look out the window and there were like 10 monkeys there, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. As I'm watching them, maybe 50 monkeys run out of the forest and start running towards me. And they go all around, like there's a path that kind of goes around the building up to the door, which is at the back of the building. And they're completely covering the whole path, and I can hear them literally at the door, and I'm like, how am I supposed to get out of my room? Like, it was like a siege. I leave and they're all there and they're all staring at me, and I catch up with my stepdad, who's kind of waiting on the other side of the monkey gauntlet, and he goes, Jake's wondered if you forgot his water bottle, because I had my brother's water bottle in my room. So I had to go back through the monkey gauntlet. This time, when I come out with his water bottle, the monkeys are like, they've come, like, they're like literally right there, like a meter away, like they're clearly waiting to try and get in through the door. They're like right there, and I'm like, oh my god, I felt like I was, oh my god, it's big down here. Go downstairs to breakfast, they tell me that I have to move rooms, and I'm like, I don't even know if I can get into my room. And the guy who owns the hotel, I think he's the owner, he's really cool, he's hilarious, he's there. And he's like, oh, if you don't know, because it's a long way up, you have to walk up a lot of stairs to get to him. He's like, I can take you up on the motorbike. And I'm like, yeah, it's not about the steps. There's like 50 monkeys. He just looks at me and he goes, usually there's 100. I'm like, oh my god. Then we went on our track, our jungle track. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. We saw orangutans right in the beginning, actually. Mama and a baby, 1-year-old baby. Really one of the coolest things I've ever done. So we're doing it at the jungle tomorrow. I'm really excited. I've never really seen jungle like this, but just being in the jungle of Sumatra, surrounded by, and it's like Planet of the Apes over here. Clearly, there's like monkeys everywhere. But only 2 p.m. right now. It's obviously raining like I've never seen in my life, and I am from a rainforest. I live in a rainforest, but it's not rain like this. I wrote a bit yesterday. I finished that epistolary chapter, so now I'm on to the last chapter in part 1. If I can, I'd love to finish it by tomorrow, and then it'll be done by the end of the month, which is so cool, and I'll be like really ahead even of where I thought I'd be. But I need to show you this rain because I live in the Pacific Northwest. I know rain, okay? But this is crazy.
Coming very close to her. He's adorable. He's very patient. Yeah. He waited for us to laugh. Yeah. Oh, I see him. Oh, there he is. I see him. 2? Yeah, 2.
Just have to see gibbon.
Freaking you. He's getting very close to us. You said if we run uphill when they're slower? He's like, no, I got it.
I've made it to Ho Chi Minh City. Bukit Lawang was definitely one of my favorite places I've ever traveled to for sure. The food was amazing, the vibe was super chill. The second day of our trek, we found this orangutan. He was up in a tree, and there was another group looking at him, and they had some kids. And as soon as that group left, he came down from the tree. He came down and he was like just so close to us, like meters away. We probably watched him for an hour as he kind of moved through the jungle. We just kind of walked alongside him, and it was really one of the most amazing experiences of my life to be so close to this just like incredible animal. I also did quite a bit of writing while I was there, actually. Finished part 1 of Tebow, which is fantastic. So that's 4 chapters and then 2 epistolary chapters. So I'm a month ahead of schedule because my goal was to finish that by the end of April. You know, I still have a pretty busy April. I'm still traveling for the first half of the month, but the times that I have been writing, I've been getting a lot done. Because I haven't been writing that often, the creativity is really built up and it flows really nicely when I get the chance. But yeah, my goal is to hopefully get part 2 done by the end of April. I've kind of shifted everything up a month since my goal was to be done this first draft by the end of August, and now I'm on track to be done by the end of July, but I have a bit more breathing room. I'm gonna end off this vlog here because it's gotten really long, and I'm going to save the rest for part 2. So thank you guys so much for following along my travels. I know it's a lot more travel than writing, but I'll see you in a part 2 for the south of Vietnam and a couple days in Japan. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!